right, this is Katie Rainey, and I'm here with the giggliest girls of all times. Say your names.
My name is Kayla UDK.
Nisa Haraway.
Saidi Samonte.
So we wrote this essay together, right?
We.
Yeah.
So I just want to ask you guys a couple questions after we did all of our time together. I want to hear your thoughts.
Cool beans.
So my first question is, what was the most memorable moment from our Citizen Uncensored event last year? You guys remember the event?
The annual benefit?
The end or like the beginning?
The event with all the 7th graders?
Okay. That's a lot of events, Kate. You'll be Pacific.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize how busy you were.
I know, we just that wanted. But I have to say, it's after a while, because in my group, my group had like all the popular kids or whatever. So they were like really reluctant to do anything. But after they realized that they could read their own poems and stuff like that and do stuff by themselves, and it wasn't like I was a teacher or anything and I was like giving them a grade for it. Like they became really open and they became really like hardworking. Like they were willing to do stuff. Wow, messed it up.
So we got interrupted by a phone ringing there. Kayla, did you want to add anything else to yours?
No. Lisa.
So for me, I was in the same group as Kayla. Well, we were in the same room, rather. And probably the most memorable thing for me was watching them, like, creatively write their poems. There's one girl who, like, she drew out a question mark, and she put in, like, her own style of the poem, which is really, like, nice to see because I'm a poet, but I never really take the time to look at my creative process. So seeing other people do it was kind of, like, eye-opening.
That's cool.
I wasn't in the same room as them, so I got the Shire kids, and it took a moment before they started like interacting and actually enjoying the event. But I'd say the most memorable thing was the poster. I forgot what word was on there. I think it was Uncensored. How all of the girls were coming in and giving a bunch of synonyms and a bunch of words that I didn't really think of that went along with that word.
And Nisa, you talked about a student that, with the question mark poem that was really cool. Do you guys remember any specific student that you helped create something or make something, how that worked out?
I don't remember. Okay, so a lot of them, they read their poems that they already had before. But I remember one of them. It was like how now everything is about Gucci and Prada and all that stuff. And she was talking about how like our standards of beauty are now not being naturally beautiful, but having like plastic surgery and wearing all these designer clothes. I really remember that one.
My girls, they just wrote a new poem during that time, and I can't remember specifically what they written, but because it was a while ago. But I do remember walking around and sitting down with some of them and speaking about what their poems were about.
And what were the biggest challenges about that, about leading these young students in this day and like making activities? Kayla, I remember you said teaching poetry is hard.
So the 7th grade, okay, so it was already before we came here. We had already heard the 7th graders were really bad and they were really talkative and whatnot. And they were.
Yeah.
And like, it was like, oh my God, can y'all shut up? I kept saying that in my mind, please be quiet. But it's like, you have to find something that they're interested in, because once they're not interested in something, they kind of close down and they don't want to talk. They don't want to like do anything. So once you find something that they find interesting, or that it's like you have to find who the group leader is, get them interested, and then everyone else is interested. That's how in my group.
And what happened? How did you get them interested?
Like when because at first when they gave us like a prompt, but we could go outside the prompt. When I gave that to them, they weren't really interested because they didn't want to do, since it was like a free period, they didn't really want to do work. And you know what? I can agree. When it's a free period, I don't want to do work. So once they found out they can like share what they already had, and like we can talk about that, they got more interested.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys remember any challenges?
I think one challenge was like a lot of them had their phones out, so they were getting distracted by their phones and they weren't really like paying attention to like the actual activity. But I feel like once they know like what they were getting into, like their poetry writing, I feel like a lot of them became more interested and had to actually put effort into the poetry. And then once like we got like the person who was like they kind of like making everything happen, all the commotion, like we got her to settle down. Everyone kind of like started like really like becoming alert to the task and like actually putting in like real like valuable work in.
That's cool.
My problem, they didn't have their phones out. Like, they had that, like, respect, at least a bit, but the thing, yeah, they were the shy ones. They, like, the loner kids or, like, the group of shy kids and quiet kids that usually don't follow the popular group.
Yeah, we low-key got people who went with our personalities. Obviously, I had the biggest one, so that's who I got. And my group happened to be the biggest, most respectful ones.
Our group, like all of our group leaders, like we all have pretty big personalities. So like all like it was me, Kayla, Akilia, Leona. Like we were all like all of us have pretty like, loud personalities. And, like we all were in one setting, so we had to find a way to like get them all to like settle down in different ways because like we all were all similar to our personality wise. So it was really difficult to get them to like quiet down, pay attention.
And that was low-key us. Like when we don't have computers, that's how we act. Like there's 3 quiet kids in the back. 2 people who are like talking but not that loud, and then a whole group of us just chatting up. That was basically, we had to basically get ourselves under control.
So wait, okay, real quick. You guys are how old?
15.
15.
So you guys are all 15. How old were these kids that you were mentoring?
They were, back then I was 14, they were our age. They were like 13.
They were 13.
Well, no, they were 2 grades younger than you,
but
right?
they're older now. Like we have later birthdays, but they're older. They were like 12, 13. Like they weren't too much younger than us.
So you were mentoring kids that were 1 to 2 years younger than you, basically.
Yeah, and that means they don't have no respect for us.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not listening to you.
I was like, I can't bring down your grade, but I will find a way to.
Well, that's interesting because that's my position in this school. Not that they're only 1 or 2 years younger. Obviously, they're a lot younger than me. But I don't give out grades here, right?
Yes, grades is what makes teachers teachers.
But you guys did a ton of stuff in my class, right?
Yeah.
So if you're not giving out grades, if there's no like punishment, say, right, for doing things, how did you guys end up doing the work? What got you excited about it?
You kind of had a teacher on your side. Like, if we weren't doing what we had to, Ms. Jones would be like, okay, 0. But us, I was like, oh my God, what are we going to do? I have no one to tell them they'll get a 0. I'm like, oh my God, I'm doing the same thing.
We had a teacher, but at the time she was pregnant, so she wasn't paying attention to us.
Yeah, Miss McDonald did not care.
But you did end up getting them interested.
I honestly don't know how we did it. It just happened.
Yeah,
I said something
magic.
I said something. One of the girls said something, and then everybody was just paying attention. I'm like, okay,
like,
I'm
boom.
not gonna complain. Poetry magic.
For my girls, that wasn't it.
I was focused the entire time.
No, the thing is, like, they were like, they sat there quietly, but they weren't doing it because they didn't really know or didn't want to. So the thing was that we had to, like, show it that, like, there isn't a specific rubric that you have to do. Because they were, like, those people, that, like, the ones, like, okay, I need a specific, like, 2-pager about what I'm supposed to do here. Otherwise, I won't do it. So it's like, no, you could do whatever you want. It could be, you could draw out your poem or you could write out your poem. And that's how, how I was able to get them. But it would have to be, like, the groups that broke apart. Oh. So it wasn't, like, one class. I had to go to specifically one corner of the room, explain it to them so they do it the way they want it. And then that's how I did it.
So you guys, you gave them a lot of freedom. You got them interested in things. Is that right?
Yeah.
Sounds like you guys did a lot of talking to them, too, just listening.
Yes. Like, at first we were trying to make it like, like a CIT, a counseling and training. Like, you still have to, they're not your counselors, but you still have to listen to them. At first we were trying to do it like that. And then I was just like, you know what? We're basically the same age.
Like,
be quiet.
You have to get on their level.
Like the same way we tell our friends, like, when they're, like, a teacher's trying to get our attention and, like, they're just talking or something, like, yeah, bro, be quiet. That's basically what we did. Just be quiet.
Oh, but Nasa, you said something interesting. You said you had to get on their level. What does that mean?
It was like Kayla said, when you have people younger than you, you try to act big and bold, but then with them, like, it wasn't working. So we had to do something to make them, like, see that we can do what you guys do.
And we do the same things.
Yeah, I think one of us shared out a poem that we originally wrote, so they could follow a guideline.
Oh yeah.
And then they kind of got, like, more interested because they see that us, like, we're only a grade above them. So that if we can do the same stuff and still, like, be cool, I guess.
Yeah, we were trying to be like the cool older sister, like
Yeah.
not too much older than you, that like they're your mom or something, but like you just have a slight bit of respect because you know they're a cool older sibling.
Oh, so you guys made poetry cool.
Yeah, we had to read our own.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I had to actually read my own poem.
You did read it out loud at the event. We had an open mic right at the end.
Yeah.
You guys all read?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, how did that feel?
Okay.
At first, we all were like, okay, guys, who's gonna read first? And then we were like, Kayla, go first. And then Kayla was like, no, I want to go first. And I was like, will I go first? And then Travis was like, Travis was lost pretty much.
I was like, okay, I'll just go first.
I was lost because I walked up after you guys were
Yeah.
discussing.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll read
My
mine.
poem went missing. Like the day of the event, like it was just not in the anthology. I was like, where'd my poem go?
But it was like once, and you also have to make it like not a safe space, but like we're not gonna laugh at you if your poem isn't that good, because and people who didn't want to read, I read it for them and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that was cool. I remember that.
For me, like, so my poem so my poem that I wrote for Citizen was called it was about Eric Gardner, and the way how my poem was structured, I had to say I can't breathe 11 times in different types of voice levels, which was really hard. And then it got awkward because everyone was like, what's the next line? And I just kept saying it 11 times over. And it was my first time reading the poem since I had written it, so I was really nervous. On top of that, and then I had to make sure, and a lot of things were happening, like a lot of people weren't paying attention, so like I had to get their attention, so I had to be really loud and like commanding in a way. And then afterwards, it was just like I had edited the poem, edited my poem because it just made me feel like I should have been more like impactful. I was impactful, but like I need to be like, yeah, impactful.
The way you present it.
Yeah, because when I read it again, like for the second time, I think it was at the conference. It was more like I know how to like present the poem where people resonated with them.
So you guys all presented at the National Book Foundation conference. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you led a session. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
It was interesting.
It was so awkward. I was like, oh my gosh.
Why?
Because it was like all these older adults just staring at us, not getting. I'm trying to direct y'all to the right answer, and they weren't getting it. I'm like, okay, it's just the hood. What do you think?
They were taking it more literal.
Yeah, they were taking it very literally. Like when poetry is supposed to be like kind of symbolically. I'm like, what does the hood represent? I'm like trying to break it down. It was like, how much more do you want?
It was one guy who was in the front of the first row, and he just kept like having like a contradiction to what I was saying. And I was like, it's the hood. Like, it's not that hard. Like, what do you think it means? Like, I'm 15 and I get it, but you're 35 and can't get it. It's a big, like, it's like, it was just like, okay, so we're 15. We're seeing people who are way much older than us, who are teachers, who are educators, not getting what I'm trying to say. It kind of was frustrating. Cause, like,
so I'm like, how are y'all teaching?
Yeah, like, how does that work?
I didn't see it as that. I saw it as they had a very different like ideal of it, because I was thinking like, oh, because they grew up at a different time than us,
and like different place.
And the thing was like, I just remember there was like a few colored people, but I just remember seeing a bunch of white people, and I think that did it because there wasn't a lot of like communication besides like newspapers and stuff back in the day, because that was like a few years ago. Having phones and technology like that, it's not that long ago. So I was like, okay, so they just needed a little extra help.
No, I see what you mean, but it was more like they didn't have experience with when I first saw the book cover, I was like, that's the hood.
I didn't think that.
I said that's like, the hood. I'm like that. I said that's clever. I'm like, it only
but
the hood is
writer.
the
She's
hood.
an artist, so it's
So
different
I'm
perspectives.
creative. I am very creative, but when I saw that, I didn't think that. I was just thinking, oh look, it's just a ripped off hood, because that's the first thing I saw.
Yeah. So that's just for reference. You're talking about the cover of Claudia Rankine Citizen.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did it feel reading your work aloud in front of those adults?
God, it almost like, so when you were reading, it was so awkward because at first, when we had told them we were going to do a free write, they took it in a very literal sense. Like, it wasn't very poetic. And then when we got to our part, we had to read the poetry, they were just looking at us like, is that it? Is that what we are doing here? It was really awkward.
It was different. Like, to Kayla. It was more of like they tried to get on a product level, but then they kind of took it like, how was their day going, kind of left you right, like, oh, my day's going great, yay. Instead of like, like expanding the horizon, like, oh, my day is like gloomy, like the trees outside. I don't know, but like they took it more of like how any adult would take things. They took it more like of a
recount.
Yeah, like a recount. Like, oh, my day was, I drank coffee this morning, I had a muffin. I was like, not the purpose of free write. But I couldn't say that because that's rude.
I'm not as like restrictive as they are with like.
Oh my god!
So if it's creative, you have to be creative. I was just like, oh, okay, that's all right. It's your first time. They're beginners.
We didn't yell at them. I was just thinking that right now.
Yeah, but
be
that's
like,
rude.
Be creative. I didn't say it out loud, so it's not rude. I was just thinking, right, be creative.
I was just like, all right, that was pretty good. Okay. Because it's like, from what I saw and assumed, it was like their first time. Because they weren't, I didn't think they were like, like creative writing teachers or anything like that. So
I think they were all ELA teachers though, so they're probably very by the book teachers. That's what I was getting from them. Like, they don't really have they don't put a lot of creativity in their lesson plans and stuff.
I feel like they'd be like, they could analyze stuff, but like when it comes to them making it themselves, that's where it's like a problem. But when it came to presenting, for me, it only got awkward because I felt like I had to like make it make sense. Because like how like they were very like professional. So like it was like, okay, so I can't make it like if I was speaking to my class.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. And I couldn't be like I can be calm, but like I couldn't be like as like.
Relaxed.
Yeah, as relaxed as I wanted to be, because they're still teachers and they're still here to learn about what we do. So I feel like, okay, so I had to put like a restriction on like how much I can like my boundaries in the class.
And even though mine was kind of like mine was real simple compared to what we usually do, I still felt like, I'm like, dang, maybe I put a little bit too much imagery and detail into it.
Even my free write was kind of like in depth.
It was real in depth, and I was like, okay, maybe that's not what we should be doing.
That was pretty cool to see, though. They had not expected that.
But I think like that helped them understand like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So it's been many months since all of our work together in our class, right?
Yeah.
And we did a lot last year.
Yeah.
So what do you remember most?
An afro.
What is an afro?
A word that repeats.
Okay.
That is the first thing.
You mean like the whole school year, or like just like?
Yeah, during all of our time together.
Like, what do we learn or what stuck?
What's most memorable? What
Me,
stuck?
The most memorable thing, because it still haunts me, is the 5-minute quick writes. And Bear, my series, I still got like stopped in the hall. I was like, who's Bear?
Oh yeah, can you say what that was?
Who is Bear?
Tell our listeners.
Oh, so I was being a teenager, right? So I was like all moody. So I saw the course as the best way to just like release my emotions, right? So what I did was that I wrote a series of like poems and stuff about this person in my life and how I felt towards them. And because I don't go anywhere, it's obviously someone in the school. So it became sort of mystery of who that person was.
Oh.
Wait. So I'm just curious.
Who was Bear?
Who is Bear?
I'll just
Tell our listeners. Our listeners want to know.
Is it someone that
We know?
You talk to on a daily basis?
Yeah. Why else would I be? I'm not the person.
I
who
have
just
I have
something about
Bear.
someone I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I see why you say our free rides, because them things got deep. Like especially
crying.
our class. Yes, there was kids crying because it was so sad. Like Leon, like we could talk about really anything. Like relationship problems. It was like everything. Like mine's usually question, like mine in general, they usually question what we know as a society. Like my first ever one that I read, because I was 3 weeks late because I was in a different continent. Mine was questioning like what everyone knows, like why is everything the way we know it is. And then there was other people saying like how they felt like when their hearts got broken or stuff like that, or like family problems. It was just deep. Had everyone in there crying.
Yeah, you learned a lot about everyone else.
Yeah, and we never like made fun of you for out of class. It was like what happens in Katie's room stays in Katie's room.
For me, I'd say we only like talk outside of it is if the person's like fine with it.
Yeah.
Like they don't really care about it.
And it just never came up.
Yeah.
Can I answer the question?
Answer the question.
Okay, for me, I would say it would probably be like when we had the when we first got our books, like our journals, only because like it was just so much like we were all like kind of curious about the class, and then we just so fresh into the experience, and then like, for instance like our free write, especially mine, like I'm not gonna lie, looking back in my my notebooks, like I started crying, like it's just like because like you see the growth of like all your writing over like every week, you see how like how much more like you put into the process. And like there's even times like I like for my class, like okay, so for my class I had a secret identity, so I was never Nasa in Katie's class.
She was Bob.
Bob.
And now that's why I go by creatively, not because it's a male name, I just like the name Bob. And then I always like to go last because it made me feel like, I don't know, being like going last, cheering out, made me feel so entitled. Like I felt like I was entitled to this world of like all this poetic, like magical things happening. And I just felt like, I feel like when you go last or like you go like first, like I've always had this mindset of like, you know, when people share out their writing, like it just makes me feel like I feel resonated, like when people say something really, really impactful in like the last part of the session, I'm like, wow.
The last thing that you hear is the thing that you remember the most.
So like you're the headliner.
Yeah, like
you like that.
That's why I always purposely went last in class, not because I wanted to headline anything, just because I liked that feeling.
And also a whole bunch of fights almost popped up in Katie's class every single Wednesday. The way if she doesn't choose you. If you don't
I thought you meant I caused fights. No, if I didn't, you guys.
If she doesn't choose you, you will be ready to fight the people she did choose.
That's right. That's right. People really wanted to share every week.
Yes, every week.
And we only had 45 minutes to do that.
I know, like we should do it twice a week.
I want to do it. I really like the class, and I wouldn't mind doing it again because
we're trying to get Miss Bonita to do it.
Yeah, it was like
I'd love to come back to that. I'd love to come to the 10th grade.
It was a good like stress reliever, and it really helped a lot of kids through a bunch of stuff.
So, what was the most difficult thing about Claudia Rankine's book for you?
That it was so true. It was like, there was a saying like ignorance is bliss, and that's true. Like once we started reading, and it's like we didn't think about it because it's so normal that it's just become like part of our everyday lives. And when someone tells us it's not normal and it shouldn't be happening, it's like wow.
We're looking at you, Sadie's.
Oh. Well, I was just watching these like. I never really finished the book because I'm the person that like doesn't like reading, but it's funny because I like to write. So, but like I remember a few parts of it that I actually sat down and read, and the thing that was hardest for me about it was like just to sit down and read it. Like besides the fact that like I don't like reading. The second thing was like this was like the fact that it was like real. It made it like, you know what? Maybe I don't want this on me right now.
That's a good point. Totally valid.
For me, when I read the book, the first read was kind of like boring. The second read, like when I actually read it, it was really like it's like her truth, like what Kayla said. Like it really like made me like open up to like, especially as like an African American girl, like seeing the book, like it made me feel like, you know, like a lot of things that our people go through is like not in comparison to other people, and it makes you like really realize like the struggles that really happen that people don't necessarily see every day. Opposed to we see things like every day, every minute, like our repeated lives, like a cycle. So like that cycle was shown through the book, and then like I get to experience the cycle every day, like whether I'm in school, whatever I'm doing, I see this like happening constantly. And then when we wrote our book, even reading like we weren't, me and Kayla were in 8th period community word, and Chinese was in 7th period, so we didn't really see other people's writings, and didn't see how 7th period's class flowed. So when I read the book like in its entirety from front to back, and seeing everyone really put like whatever they had to put into the class, whatever into the book, it's like a lot of people like you never like a lot of stuff that was written, like you never know what's behind a person's mind. Like our thoughts really like our power. Like honestly, like it makes it like the reading the book made me feel like a lot of people that I know every day, I didn't think like, we had such, truth to power. Like our words really speak truth to power, and it just was shown throughout like our whole year, especially like it was really like clear. Wow.
And just last question, thinking quickly about that power that you're talking about. How does it make you feel to have this book out and we're writing this essay together and you're doing this interview and you did all these conferences? How does that make you feel?
Like a celebrity.
I do. I feel so... Photographs later, not right now. It feels real celebrity, to be honest.
Does.
Like, my face is in my school.
Yeah, like, my face is in, it's gonna be, I wrote recently, in the essay you're gonna see, I wrote a poem relating to the question, what is your voice, like, what does it mean to you? And now they're gonna put it up in the building. It's just like, whoa, like, I'm really special.
Like, I'm so sorry.
For me, that's not it. I just like the fact that
It's always the opposite of us.
Yeah.
Like, it's not me.
Not me.
No, I didn't feel like a celebrity. I just felt like I was really blessed to be able to do that.
No, celebrity blessed.
Celebrity blessed, it's the same thing. We're grateful.
I'm more humble than them.
No, we're
Okay,
humble.
just say I feel like a celebrity. Doesn't mean I'm not
I-
thankful for the ability to feel like a celebrity.
I don't feel like a celebrity.
I mean,
So she's Tyrese. It's okay.
But how does it make you feel, not like a celebrity, but just to have your work out there and to have done these things?
I know that are just... That's a good question.
that's a good question. But like when I walked into the place and I saw my the benefit place, I don't know, in Manhattan, and I saw my face, I said, Kayla, wow, amazing.
Like I saw, seeing my friend's face. I was like, yes, that's my friend.
Yeah,
like,
just seeing like people
iconic.
from our school and people we have never met and who have money to donate. That's just crazy.
Gio.
Yes, we saw the good times.
But like, I feel like I feel like community words helped all of us in like certain aspects, like just not writing like creatively, but just like outside of it too. And like when I go to like always like poetry events, they're like, oh my god, you're in community word. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people who are there. I'm like,
It's
hey.
like I feel like a part of the community. I feel like people want to get to know us as writers and as people. I think that's so great about the project that we're doing now with community word with David. It's just like they get to see us as writers and then also as artists and how it transforms from words to art. And it goes to the whole city, so everyone gets to see us. And I feel like that's just such a great opportunity for us to express ourselves.
And like we really matter.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for answering my questions and for writing with me, and it's been a pleasure to work with you over the last year, and hopefully
Do it again.
Yeah,
no problem, Katie.
hopefully we get to do it again
We should
soon.
come to one of your classes.
You guys should. Come
You
to
invited us, Katie, so it's okay. I see how
All
it
right,
is.
say bye to our listeners.
Adios,
Bye.
amigos.
No, au revoir.
Good morning.
Au revoir, monsieurs and madames and mademoiselles.
Hey.